Hello, we're a part 2 of 2013 Classroom in a Book, Lesson 12. We're on page 357, and we're applying the offset path effect. So with the group still selected in the appearance panel, click the underlined word stroke. So I'm going to pull up that appearance panel. So we're going to click this word. And we're going to change that weight from none to 12 point. And I'll press the escape key to hide that. And I'm going to click the stroke color in the appearance. And make sure that it is set to, it's the black swatch right there. And with the stroke attribute row selected, we're going to go to Appearance panel for the Effect Path Offset. So see how it's selected there? It's highlighted. Path, Offset Path. And this box opens up, and we're going to change the offset to 10. Joins our miter, and miter limit is 4, so kind of just how it normally is. Click OK. It kind of has this softness to it. And we'll do a Command S. So next is we're applying distorts and transforms. So we're going to go to Object, Show All. We have that orange and that Joe's Gym back up. And we're going to deselect everything. And we're going to select the orange circle. And we're going to Effect, Distort, and Transform, Roughen. So this dialog box comes up, and again, play with these on your own time. We're going to change the size to 30, relative selected, detail 8 per inch, and smooth selected. So once we do this, it kind of gives it a little, well, it roughens it, but it gives it kind of a spirally effect, which is pretty cool. So do a Command S. And next we're applying is Photoshop effects. So we were working with Illustrator effects, now we're at the Photoshop effects. So they generate pixels rather than vector data. So once you apply these effects, you do not have infinite scalability. However, so keep that in mind. So when if you were to apply these Photoshop effects and scale something to be billboard side, you're going to have all those pixels, and you think about that. So, you know, you might want to go to Document Raster Effects Settings, see that we're high at 300 ppi. That's what you want for print resolution. And we don't get too much into print and web resolution, but we want that high effect, those 300, so it looks gorgeous and beautiful. So we're going to select the grouped red shapes, these guys back here. And in the appearance panel, we're going to select the fill attribute. So we're going to select that right there in our appearance panel. And we're changing parts of this appearance. So we're not changing the shape so much, but the parts of it. So you're going to select the fill, and we're going to go to Effect, Artistic Film Grain. And it's going to open up a filter gallery. So if you work with Photoshop, this looks familiar. And you may need to zoom out so you can see what you've done. And it kind of adds a little effect to it. So this is sort of your thumbnail, what you can click to apply. B is where you pick things. And C is how you change the effect. And D is the different ones you've added. So we're on film grain. We want the grain higher to 9, the highlight area 0, and the intensity to be 8. And if we click this eyeball, you can see how it changes it. It adds a texture, it looks thicker. So we're going to click OK to apply the raster effect. And the bottom of page 360 has you look at the document raster effect settings. So, well, the last one I work is working with 3D effects to make things look 3D. So with the selection tool, we're going to deselect and select the text Joe's Gym. And we're going to select type in the appearance panel. And this will apply the 3D effect to the entire object, not just to the fill and stroke. So we're going to go to Effect, 3D, Extrude, and Bevel. It opens up this dialog box. So there's different things you can play around with. So we're going to go to Custom Rotation. The X-axis, which controls rotation, this is the X. And if you highlight C, it says X. You're going to take that to 4. The Y, -30. And the Z is going to be 0. Perspective, 125%. The extrude depth, we'll take that to 90. Bevel, none. Surface plastic shading. Just going to kind of pull this to the side so when I click OK, see, it kind of tilts it around. But we're going to undo that real quick. And I had to go to the next page and realize I had a lot more stuff to work on. So I'm just going to copy these things really quick. I'm going to click the More Options. So I went Light Intensity 100, Ambient Light 100, Highlight 85, Highlight Size 90, Blend, Shading Color Black, and you click OK. There you go. And definitely play around with other 3D effects you can add. So now the last is we're going to applying a revolve effect. So we're going to select our barbells that go from this to that somehow. Believe me, they will. So we're going to select them and go to Effect, 3D Revolve. It opens up kind of the same kind of familiar thing. We're going to select offset to right edge. And there's settings on page 363 and we are going to apply them. So X, 36, Y, 31, Z, -57, perspective 80, angle 360, offset 0. From right edge, surface plastic shading, light intensity 100, ambient light 0, highlight 100, highlight size 90, blend steps 120, shading color black, and I'm going to click OK. It's going to take a minute to think about it. And boom, it has changed it. So the last thing we're going to do is deselect everything, and we're going to shift click both the barbells in a group and the yellow. So we're selecting both. And we're going to Effect, Stylize, Drop Shadow. We want Mode Multiply, Opacity, get to 60, X Offset, -4, Y4, Blur 4. We're going to click OK. It adds some depth once it's done thinking about it. And it gives it some depth. We're going to do a Command S to save. And we're going to do a file export. And that was a really quick video, done in 2. Have fun. So I really want you to play around with all the effects on your own to see what they can offer you. Because again, that's the only way you're really going to understand what you're doing. You can read the instructions all day, but you have to learn to apply it. So definitely play around with all of these effects. So do File, Export, Spinny Wheel of Death. Just going to think about it. JPEG, Artboards, Range 1, Export. So I hope you liked this video, and I'll see you next week.